I'd like to welcome you to 5 ways to stop yourself from overeating during this quarantine, because you don't have to blow up just because you are cooped up. All right, so I see water now. Great. Now, I want to make sure that you all stick around to the very end because I have some really cool and exciting information that I want to share with you. But before we get started, I have to hit you with some gut-punching numbers. So the shocking truth that I want to start off with: 15% of American adults are physically inactive. And while 15% may not sound like a lot, when you consider that there are about 210 million adult Americans, that turns into about a little bit over 31.5 million people, million adults here in America are not active at all. They're not physically active. But what's even shockier, yes, I made that up, is that of all American adults, 31.8% are considered to be overweight. Now, overweight means that it's roughly about, when you're looking at your BMI, you're a little bit more than 27% for your BMI. Now, wow, when you look at it even more, when your eyes pop out, the eye-popping truth is that 39.8% of Americans are considered obese. So when you add that up, that means that 71.6% of Americans are considered to be overweight or obese, and only about 28.4% of us are considered to be in the healthy range. Now, I've been talking about this eye-opening truth the last few days because it just shocked me that 300,000 deaths occur in America every year due to inactivity and dietary habits that are poor. Now, again, this is the sad part of it. Cancer, the deaths that are related to cancer are about 600,000 a year. So that means that there are half that number of people who are dying just because they're not active and because they are not eating right. That is 300,000 lives that could have been saved if they just got up and moved. Now, if you feel my pain on that, if that saddens you, let me know in the comments how you feel about that. That to me is heartbreaking because it does not take a lot to change those numbers. And the crazy thing about it is that right now, more people are in their homes than in a long, long time. That number is going to shoot up next year. Think about how many people are in their homes, they're not moving, and then on top of it, you have people joking about the quarantine 15, the Rona rumps, and all of that stuff. So it's cute and funny at the beginning, but then when this number keeps creeping up, it's not funny at all. Right, we need help, as Geraldine said. So before we get deep into the 5 tips that I have for you, let me tell you who I am. I am Crystal Taylor. I am the owner of Fitness is Not a Game, where I help busy people like you find that balance of living a healthier lifestyle by providing meal plans and workouts that are quick yet effective. I'm a certified personal trainer, a fitness nutrition specialist. A lot of people don't know this about me, but I am an Army vet. I was a 63 whiskey all-wheel mechanic. I've also been a figure competitor, and I'll give you a little more information about that shortly. But I'm also a wife and the mother of 2 super duper cool fellas who are, I guess, like my co-workers now, right? But, you know, I've been fortunate that with everything I've been doing, I've been able to be featured on a lot of platforms and interviewed on a lot of platforms, and I am very humbled to have been invited to all of them. So as you see, I've been on Bernetta Style, Happy Couples, Dreams Inspire Reality, Wake Up Girl Radio, Black and Married with Kids, Vegan What, and I am also a preferred vendor for David's Bridal here in the Orland Park, Illinois area. So it's really cool to have all of these venues to share my expertise and to also spread my plea of people to become healthier. So while I live, I would say right now that I am considered to be fit and healthy, and I'm very proud of that. I was not always that way. Growing up as a kid, I was not athletic at all. I played 0 sports. I was on the pom-pom squad and on math teams and scholar bowls because I was afraid to be an athlete. And then I said, hey, you know what? I can still be part of the athletic team. I'm pretty smart. I can be the scorekeeper for these sports. So instead of me playing the sports, I was just feeling their energy just from being around them, right? But then when I got to college, I wanted more for myself. I did not want to just be smart. I did want to be physically fit, and I wanted a challenge. So that's when I decided to go to the Army. And when I was in the Army, it challenged me like I had never been challenged before physically. And I started seeing muscles pop out that I didn't know that I could develop. And I loved it. But because I was in the reserves, I finished my training time and I went back to college, finished, got my undergrad and my graduate degrees. And then life happened. I got married and had some kids. And yes, I know y'all like, woo, child, that is me. 9 days before my younger son was born. And he was actually early. So imagine he was about 2.5 weeks early. So if I had gone the full term, I would have been way bigger. We have big babies in our family, right? So as you can imagine, after having him, my body was just in a shape that I had never seen before, that I was not comfortable in. Thanks, Jeremy. I was very uncomfortable in my body because I now had saddlebags, I had muffin top, all of these things that I just did not like. And in full transparency, I considered all of the quick things that everybody else considered. I did even try at one point the fat burning pills, but I was nursing my son. Plus, I know that my family history, we have heart disease. So I could not play with that. And I said, okay, I have to do something different other than these so-called get skinny quick schemes. I had to make changes. So I made some changes and I started losing the weight, and I actually got smaller after having him than I was even before I got pregnant with him. And of course, people started asking, what are you doing? Asking for tips. And I would give them to them. So like I told you all, I went to the Army because I like a challenge. And I said, okay, let me find another challenge. I had done things like a 5K race. I had done a 10K race. I think I'd even done a marathon. And I said, you know what? I want to push my body and see how far how fit I can get. How far can my body go? And that's when I entered my first figure competition. And this is roughly 11 years after I had my son. So 11 years after having him, I was in way better shape than I had ever thought I could ever get into. And I won second place. I was very proud of that, very excited. My very first show. But of course, now people are really taking a look at me and my body and like, okay, what are you doing? And I explained to them that I was competing. However, during that competition time, I was soaking up all of the information that I got from my coach. And it became so enlightening to learn how the body worked, what the body could do. And so people started asking me, hey, would you create plans for me? Would you create workout plans? Would you create nutrition plans? And I did, and I loved it. But I was so ingrained in corporate life that I never considered it to be a real option as a job, right? You know, I was raised that I would go to college, that I would get a degree, and that I would work in corporate America. Never thought that I could work for myself. And I definitely didn't think that I would be in this field, right? But people kept asking me, and I didn't think that people would pay me either. But to my surprise, I was wrong. They did. And then one day I was doing a check-in with one of my clients, and she said this to me. She said, Crystal, I went to a wedding this weekend and only wore stockings. It was nice not to need my Spanx. Team no Spanx. That right there made me feel all the feels and say, you know what? This is it. This is what I'm supposed to be doing, because it wasn't about her losing weight. That wasn't what touched me. What touched me was how she felt about herself. I'm not in the weight loss business. As you all heard me say in my intro, I am about helping people live healthier lifestyles, because I don't believe in diets. I believe in lifestyle shifts. Once you make that shift, the weight is going to come off. And even if it doesn't come off, your body is going to be healthier anyway. And it's going to adapt and adjust to what you like anyway. I guarantee you that. And the reason why I do not focus on diets is because 80% of people who successfully lose at least 10% of their body weight will gradually regain it to end up as large as, or even larger than they were before they were even on a diet. So why would I promote diets and fads when I know that I am sending you off and sending you to the wolves just to gain it back? I like to teach people how to live healthier, sustainable lifestyles. All right. So since we're all in the house right now, we're all bogged down and on lockdown. Hopefully, some people are still running these streets when they should not be, but we're in the house, and it's so understandable in the sense that once this is over, so many people are going to run to the fad diets to try to lose weight quick. They're going to try keto. They're going to try intermittent fasting. They may even try the smart cleanse. And that one right there is a crazy one. But I don't want you to do any of that. That's not what we're here for on how to lose weight fast. What you will get from being here with me tonight is that you will get tips that are long lasting and sustainable that you can implement in your life even when this is all over. So do you think that you can do that? Are you in? If you can do that, type yes, I can in the comments. I want you to say it with both. Say, yes, I can. Yes, I can do this. I don't need a fad diet. I just want some sustainable stuff. Freddie says, yes, he can. And I'm drinking my water, so that means that you should be drinking yours. So since you feel that you can, y'all ready? You ready for this information? Because we're about to get into it. I see even in Espanol, I see sí. Great. That is fantastic. Drink your water. Let's get into it. Tip number 1 is to eat. And I know y'all probably like, what? I'm on here to learn how not to overeat. And your first tip is for me to actually eat? Yes. The thing about it is that when you eat more, you'll take in less food. You're like, wait a minute, Crystal, you're kooky. I need to log out now. I don't know what you're talking about, but stay with me. When I say eating more, I mean more frequently. And the reason why I want you to do that, when you eat more frequently, your body is satiated more often, right? Or satiated, however you want to pronounce it, but you are feeling fulfilled more often, which means that there's no need for you to just to splurge once you do finally eat. Your body becomes accustomed to eating, and so it burns more calories. And because you're on a routine, if you go off of that routine, your body will know it, and you're not even going to want it. You're not even going to think about food because you feel satisfied. Now, what I don't want you to do is to restrict yourself. But those fad diets that I mentioned earlier, just a few slides ago, what happens is that a lot of times they're restricting something, whether they're restricting carbs, they're restricting sweets, they're restricting protein, even whatever the case, there's some type of restriction. And the thing that happens, what happens when you restrict yourself, when you finally get it, what do? You go overboard because you're excited to finally have it in your life. Your body has been missing it. If you are like me, you're in your 40s, you've been eating a certain way, your body likes what it likes. And if you are taking all of it away, and honestly, our bodies are supposed to have a healthy balance of all things, of all nutrients. That's your fats, your sugars, your carbs, your proteins. We actually need it all. And if you don't have a healthy balance, you will become deficient and your body will start craving it. And then you're going to want more and more of it once you finally get your hands on it. Hence, overeating, hence, getting all of those extra calories that you don't need. All right. Now, the next part of eating is to make sure you're not skipping meals. Now, I know this is difficult for some people. I know way too many people who say that they skip breakfast frequently because they either claim they don't like it, or they're too busy to eat, or they're not thinking about it. And then what happens is that once they finally remember to eat in the afternoon, now they're overeating. Or they may have eaten breakfast and then they completely skipped lunch. And then they're doing the same thing when dinner comes, they're overeating, and then they're snacking because they have not given their body the fuel that it needs. Now, that's what I need you to think about. You have to create a healthy view of food. Food is fuel for your body. I'm going to say that again. Food is fuel for your body. That's why you want to give it a healthy balance of all of the nutrients so that your body can do everything that it needs to do. But what I also want you to do is be kind and be patient with yourself. Do not beat yourself up. It's too often where people will say that they either ate something bad, and I'm doing air quotes for bad, and so now they have to go work out because, oh, they have to work that bad food off. Or they'll say, hey, I had a great killer workout. I'm going to treat myself with some good fatty food. If you've done either of those, if you said either of those, let me know in the comments that you've done that. Say, that's me. I've done it. Let me know. But the thing is that I don't want you to look at food as either bad or as a reward. It's not a reward because you're not an animal. You don't get treats for doing well. And whenever you think that something is bad, you are going to punish yourself. If nothing else, you're going to punish yourself mentally because you eaten something bad or you've done something bad. And so now what do? You go back to restricting yourself from what you consider was bad. You go back to skipping meals because you want to make sure that you're being a good girl or good boy and doing and staying on what you consider to be a prescribed diet. Does that make sense? Let me know if that makes sense to you in the comments. And I'm grabbing a little water before we go on to tip number 2. And Annette says, that makes sense. Great, great, great. All right, so let's go to tip number 2. Just do some stuff. Yes. Stop just sitting around eating aimlessly because you're bored. What's great about this pandemic during this quarantine is that there are so many silver linings. So many companies are providing their resources freely for you. right? So you can take online classes. I know people who are taking classes at Stanford. They're getting certifications. They're learning graphic design. They're doing all of this stuff because these businesses have come together to try to provide as much as we can. And I'll say we, because that's part of the reason why I host the 3 times a week virtual workouts. That's why I'm doing this training now. We're providing unlimited resources for you to learn more about some of the hobbies that you wanted, right? This is a great time to develop a hobby. It's also a great time to be productive around your home. Why wait? I started my spring cleaning last weekend. I still have plastic on my windows because I'm in Chicago, but the spring cleaning has already started. Why don't you be productive around your home and burn calories at the same time? We all know that chores will burn some calories. So how's your yard looking? I know that even though it's a little cold and rainy here, well, it's warm today because of the thunderstorms, but the yard is about to get some work. Have you been considering cleaning out your closet? All of those things will keep you active and productive and help you burn calories. All right. And let's see. Hold on. There's some background noise. There we go. All right. If I can get you to mute. There we go. Pull you up. Now, the next thing I want you to do, I mentioned it, do virtual workouts. Stay busy. That's my whole goal for talking to you all tonight, is to make sure that you're healthier. And part of that is working out. Now, of course, I have to do my shameless plug for my Monday, Wednesday, and Friday 30-minute virtual workouts that are hosted on the Fitness is Not a Game Facebook page. 30 minutes, you get to work out, you get to sweat, you get to have fun, and you feel better about yourself when you're done. And when you feel good and you start getting those results, I tell you, there's nothing more addictive than seeing results. Once you see those results, you will not want to eat as much as possible because you see your goals and you say, you know what, this, meaning the virtual workouts or just being active, whether you're getting outside, that helps my goals as opposed to eating bonbons sitting around on the couch watching TV. All right. So Freddie said he's been enjoying those 30-minute workouts. So tell me if tip number 2 is doable. Can you find more things to do with your time? Can you pick up a trade? Can you pick up a hobby? Can you go for a walk? You know, even though we're staying in our homes, we're in shelter in place, it's still okay to go for a walk around your neighborhood. Just still maintain your social distance. Should you see your neighbors out, that does not mean to run up and high five and hug your neighbors. No, no, no. I actually, if I see a neighbor, I cross the street and allow them to go their way, and then I go my way. I'll turn the corner. Either way, I'm not passing anybody. And you can do the same. All right? So that's tip number 2. We're going to do some stuff. We're going to occupy our time so that we're not just loafing around. So what's number 3? Number 3 is one of my favorites. Do not eat from the containers. Those snack bags that you see right there are bags. Those little small containers, those are bae. Now, excuse me. The reason why I want you to sort and portion it out is because if you're eating out of the container, you're mindlessly eating. You don't even realize how many times your hand has gone in that pretzel bag. You don't even remember how many cubes of cheese you've popped in your mouth because you're more than likely eating while you're either watching TV or you're at your computer or playing on your phone. So you're not paying attention to how much you've consumed. When you do that, you're adding additional calories that you don't want. Now, I think if you don't know, I'll just put this out there. Every pound is made up of 3,500 calories. So in order to lose 1 pound, you have to burn 3,500 more calories than you consumed. And if you gain a pound, that means that you've consumed 3,500 more calories than you burned. All right, let that soak in real quick for you. Okay, let that soak in. So when you're eating mindlessly and you don't have it broken down, your snacks in these containers and in their bags, you are constantly eating. Now, this is my tip for you. What I love for you to do is to verify and measure each portion. And I say verify because on the side of each container, they'll tell you what a serving size is, right? They'll say the serving size is 1 ounce or equals 24 chips or a quarter of a cup. But when you find out what that serving size is, portion out a single serving and pack it individually. Make your own snack bags. You know, these industries, the food industry, they were smart. They jumped on that. That's why you see those 100 calorie pack snacks, because they basically just done the work for you, where you could do it yourself. So get these snack bags, get any snack bags, get small containers, and portion them out as soon as you bring them in the house. Reason being is that if you take that, and it literally takes 3 to 5 minutes to break down a bag of chips. I mean, I've never really done chips. Now I'll tell you what I do with chips, but pretzels and almonds and things like that, trail mix. To break that down takes 3 to 5 minutes. And then what I do is after I put them in the snack size bags, I put the snack size bags, all of them, back into the original container. So that way, when I want a snack, all I have to do is grab the pre-portioned snack that's already there for me. I don't have to take the time to measure anything out, because more than likely, if I'm running for a snack, I'm already busy anyway. I don't want to do that. And like with chips, what I do is I'll tell you, sometimes I can get anal and I might count out my chips, or I'll measure it out, or sometimes I'll just get a small bowl, pour chips in there, put the chips back into the pantry or the cabinet, and then only eat what's in the bowl. Now, the thing is that once you finish your snack, once you've eaten this entire container of almonds or the bag of pretzels, you have to make a decision on if you want to go back and get another bag. Now, that's your whole personal life and that's your whole personal decision, but the average person will feel pretty bad about going back for seconds, and instead will say, you know what, let me think about it, because it takes 20 minutes for your body to digest the food to know if you're full or if you're satisfied or not. So I would recommend that you drink some water with it, give yourself a few minutes when you think you're hungry after that first one, to see if you really want it 10, 15 minutes later. Is that doable? Tell me in the comments if that makes sense. If you can portion out your snacks and not eat out of the container. Give me a yes in the comments. Yes, yes, yes. All right. Tip number 4. I'm actually dancing on this one. That's why I turn my camera off so y'all don't see how goofy I am. But I wanted you all to focus on the information and not on my goofiness. But you have to log everything. When you log, it exposes the truth about what you are consuming. Now, I say that because too often, and because remember, if you're eating out of the container, you're mindlessly eating anyway. You have no idea how much you've actually consumed because you haven't measured it, right? And if I asked you afterwards, like I've seen studies with that, they put people in a room and they ask them how much they think that they consumed. There was a study on chicken wings. They were at a football party, and the average person thought that they ate like 5 or 6 when they were actually eating like 10 or 11, right? So when you measure it out and you log, it exposes how much you're actually eating and how many calories you are consuming. Because remember, 1 pound equals 3,500 calories. It is so easy to consume that additional amount of calories throughout time if you're not monitoring how much you're actually eating and how much you're actually consuming. And when I say that, I mean, when I say consume, I'm not just referring to what you're eating. I'm also referring to what you're drinking. That's your coffees, that's your additives in your coffees, like your creamers, that's your condiments, your ketchup, your barbecue, your syrup, all of those things. You have to be logged so that you can stay on track. We just finished our Lose 5 Pounds in 10 Days challenge today, and that logging made such a difference. And for my people who were in the challenge who are here tonight, please attest to it in the comments on how logging actually helped probably the most with keeping you on track. The cool thing about logging is that it can be done ahead of time. So whether you're using another app like MyFitnessPal, what you see right here is actually the app that's within my system. You can log ahead of time. And this is great because it allows you to plan out your day. You know, as they say, if you, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail, right? So when you are logging, I will a lot of times, I will log my entire day the day before so that I can see how much I'm planning on eating, to see if I can maneuver some things, if I need to change some things, if I can even add some things because I'm not eating enough, all right? But when you're logging, you have to be honest. Don't lie. I tell you, you can lie in that log all you want, but you know where the truth is going to be? In that mirror and in those jeans. So it's best that you just be honest up front. And if you have to lie, lie on the opposite end. If you know you didn't eat as much, like say for instance, when I eat, I typically don't eat everything that's on my plate, right? I might leave a bite or two, sometimes half of it, just because I'm not that hungry. But I've already logged my meal. Whatever goes on my plate stays in my log. I do not go back and change your log to say, oh, I only ate 5 ounces instead of 6, so I'm going to change it in my log. No, leave it be, so that you can see how much you could have consumed and just stay on track. So I'll ask you, how many of you are using any type of logging mechanism or system right now? Anybody? Before we go on to tip number 5, and I see a sad face, so that means no for Freddie. And I'm going to ask you all to take a sip of water right now. I'm going to wet your palate, and I'm going to say that I hope that this next one you stick with me and you still love me, because I say this with all the love in my heart. Okay, are you ready? If y'all ready, hit me with a yes in the comments. And then I wish we had the ability to add some hearts, because I have a feeling that some of you may get mad and log out right now. Say, Crystal, you're crazy again. But I need you to monitor your alcohol intake. Don't boo me. Don't log out yet. Hear me out. Hear me out. Because I know that somebody said they flipped over the table. In this time of being cooped up, stressed out, people tend to turn to alcohol. What's funny is that funny, interesting, however you want to describe it, what's interesting is that this year, everybody's been so stressed that there were really no April Fool's jokes or anything like that. But one April Fool's joke made it through, and it had people upset. There were April Fool's jokes going around different cities saying that the liquor stores were about to close due to the shelter in place, and they were going to be closed indefinitely. It was hilarious because it was right there that it was a hoax, but people were running to the store without even reading the whole article. And the article was that long, but they didn't even read it. Just the thought of not having alcohol right now scared people, and people are drinking a lot right now. But I'm not saying, remember, I told you in the first tip not to restrict yourself, and that includes alcohol. There's nothing wrong with having a drink or two. But the thing about it is that the more you drink, the more it lowers your inhibitions, meaning where you're just like, forget it, you forget your goals, forget it, I'll eat this, I'll do that. And we don't want that, because what happens is it also increases your appetite. Okay, so think about it. If you go to some of the best dive bars, they also have to have really good food, because as people are sitting there drinking and drinking and drinking and drinking, what happens? They get hungry, so they end up eating more, right? So tell me if you can relate to that. And then the thing about it is that many people truly overlook how many calories are in alcoholic beverages. So I think that most people would assume that, okay, if I have something fruity and sweet, it's going to be a lot of calories, right? So they say, okay. But then when you look at how much how many calories are in, vodka or in gin. In vodka, you're looking at over 60 calories per ounce. Did you hear that? Per ounce, not total, per ounce. And the majority of y'all, no judgment, are not making your cocktails with 1 ounce of vodka. And then when you add in the mixer, you're adding even more calories to it, right? Excuse me. So that's why I want you to monitor how much you're drinking, because you are adding those extra calories. So how does that sound? I'm going to do a quick review of all 5 tips. I want you to make sure you're eating. I want you to make sure you're doing stuff. And remember, eating means you're eating on a regular basis. You're fueling your body. You're looking at food in a different way. You're looking at it as fuel and not as the enemy or as a reward. You're going to stay busy, do things, learn more, learn some trades, clean your house, work on your yard, spend time with your family when you can that's in your house. Get on some Zoom parties, all of those good things. Stay busy. You're going to portion out your snacks. You're not going to eat from the container, because that is mindless eating. And then everything you're going to eat, you're going to log. And then we are going to be mindful of our alcohol consumption, not stopping it. All right. So question is, can you do it? Can you implement these 5 things to make sure that you are not overeating during this pandemic? Let me get a yes in the comments. A yes, I can do it. I believe I can. I'm going to try. I'll start tomorrow. Some people say, well, let me start on Monday. Let me know. Geraldine says, very interesting. I can do it. Freddie says, yes. Who else is going to join Geraldine and Freddie? Freddie said, let's get this done. I think you can do it. You can do it. I believe in you. I know that everybody that's on here right now and everybody's listening and watching, you can implement those 5 things that are going to stop you from overeating. Y'all hear that word? Overeating. Not saying don't eat at all, but this overeating has to stop. So I have another question for you. Are you ready to be inspired? I like inspiration. If you're ready to be inspired, hit me with some yeses. Now, I mentioned one of my clients earlier, but I always like the opportunity to brag on my clients. When you look at these pictures, you see different body shapes, different levels of fitness, but what you also see that's the same, what's similar with all of them, is that they decided they wanted to make a change. And the changes that you're seeing in these pictures are all in like 4 weeks or less. Even this top left picture, that change was made in just 8 days. Then you also see some more. That top left picture tends to get like a shock. I know when I got the pictures, I was like, what? How did you do that in 14 days? But they stuck to the plans because they decided that they wanted to work. They wanted to make changes. They wanted to see a different them in the mirror, right? They wanted to get rid of those muffin tops and the saddlebags and tone up their arms, right? But I want to know, are you ready for it? Because if you are, I want to tell you about 4 weeks of fitness. So with the 4 weeks of fitness program, it comes with 4 weeks of meal plans. So you get to choose whether you want a meal plan that has no dietary restrictions at all, or if you want a vegetarian, or if you are lactose intolerant. We have that. Well, I have that available for you too. Now, the cool thing about it is that every day when you log into your program, you see what you're supposed to eat. But then when you are going shopping, whether it's online shopping, be safe, y'all, or going to the store, the grocery list is already completed for you. So there's no guessing about what you're supposed to buy based on what's assigned to you, which is really cool. But then you also get 4 weeks of exercise plans. So as I mentioned, you log in and it tells you exactly which workout you're supposed to do that day, whether you're working on legs and abs, whether it's a rest day, whether it's a full body day, whether it's a cardio day. And then when you click on the exercise, in case you're not exactly sure what that is, you're not familiar with it, you'll see that there's a demo video and even descriptions on what you should or should not be doing. Now, what you see here is an example of a gym workout, but the workouts for the 4 weeks of fitness are all home-based, so you can do everything at home with minimal equipment. So I keep mentioning this schedule, but that's what you see here in the middle. So when you log in, it tells you what day you are on the program, and it tells you update your progress pictures or update your measurements, or if you have a workout, what your meal plan is. It's easy to log. The homepage is on the left side, where it's very user-friendly. You're either starting your workout, you're logging, adding your progress pictures, and that's very important because as you can see from the pictures with my clients, we work really hard on focusing on those pictures because the scale may or may not move, but your body will change, right? And then on the right, you'll see that there's a lot of other stuff in here. There's an ability for us to communicate by messenger in there, and I do watch your logs, your meal logs, and your exercise logs, and communicate with you just to make sure you're staying on track, to give you some kudos, to give you some suggestions, just to see what's going on with you and all of that. All right, so what else? That together, the 4-week workout plan and the meal plan together, they have a value of $225. But there's more. When you join 4 weeks of fitness or any part of the Fitness is Not a Game family, you get access to our members only Facebook group, which has a value of $100 because I drop different unique deals in there that are not publicly announced. But then you also get an extra 15% off of anything that you buy inside of the Fitness is Not a Game store. So whether you want some swag or you want to get the, I love the swag, the shirts, the hoodies, the hats, but you also get the cards, the booklet. There's so much stuff that's going on in there, and you get 15% off of that. So if I run down the entire 4 weeks of fitness program, you get the exercise programs for 4 weeks, the 4-week meal plan, the members only Facebook group, 15% off of the store. All of that, when we add it together, it has a value of $325 plus that 15% off. But your price is only $99. That's about a 70% deal. But it gets even better, right? If you wanted to ramp it up, if you want to accelerate your success, you can get even more. You get the ebook, The Secrets of a Fitness Competitor for the Everyday Person, that has a value of $45. Get the chart of all the fresh fruits and vegetables that are in season. That comes with the upgrade for a value of $20. But this is the most valuable part. You don't get me. I'm not coming to your house, especially not right now. But what you do get is weekly check-ins with me throughout the entire time you're in the program, where it's just me and you, 20 minutes, we talk via Zoom, and I check in with you to see how you're doing, give you, like I said, give you updates, give you suggestions. We get to talk about what's personally going on with you. And in case we need to make any modifications, all of that comes out there too. That has a value of $160. Now, when we add that together, we're going to add that on top of what you get for the 4 weeks of fitness. This is the accelerated version. You get the 4 weeks workout plan, the 4-week meal plan, the members only Facebook group, the 15% off of the Fitness is Not a Game store, but you also get the ebook, you get the fresh fruit and vegetable chart, and you get weekly one-on-one sessions with me. That is all valued at $550, but no, your price is only $197. But wait a minute now. I want to give you a gift. Because things are crazy right now, I want to do as much as I can to get as many of you to do more for yourselves and take control of your health and your fitness. So what I'm offering now during this entire pandemic is 30% off of both programs. So instead of paying $99 for the regular 4 weeks of fitness, you would only pay $69.30. And if you decided you wanted to accelerate your chances of being successful, because when you have those additional resources and especially having that extra accountability with me, you are accelerating your chances for success. Instead of paying $197, it's $137.90 for 4 weeks. Okay, let's do the math on that. If you went to the 4 weeks of fitness by itself, that's a little bit more than $2 a day that you will pay. If you went with the accelerated for $137, that's a little bit over $4 a day to make sure that you are getting and staying healthy. You're losing weight in a healthy way. You're learning, because that's what those one-on-one tips are. One-on-one conversations are with us. These are tips that are designed just for you, things that you can tag and bring into your life. And how do you get this? I apologize. I almost jumped over. You get this by going to fitnessisnotagame.com/4 weeks. And to get the 30% off gift, all you have to do is use the code locked in, because we're locked in our houses right now, right? We're locked in our homes, just try to put a little fun on it. But you know what? Maybe you're saying this is not for you. And it's not for you if you're okay with the quarantine 15 and getting the Rona. It's not for you if you're okay with possibly being part of that 300,000 people who are not going to make it out of the year because they're inactive and they're not eating the way that they should. This is not for you if you are not dedicated to committing yourself to getting healthier, if you don't want to be here and be around longer for your family. This is not for you. But it is for you if you say, you know what, I'm not going to be in that 71.8% of Americans who are overweight or obese. I want to be in that other percent that's healthy. This is for you if you are tired of being that part of that stat of African Americans and just people in general who are suffering due to diet-related diseases like diabetes and heart disease and hypertension. This is for you if you want to make a change. This is for you if you want to walk out of your house after this pandemic and look super duper fly and look snatched and feel like you have used this time in your home to better yourself because you're not commuting to work. You're not being succumbed to eating the office party donuts and pizza. This is for you if you say, you know what, it is finally my time to take care of me. It's finally my time to invest in myself. This is for you if you feel like $4 a day is worth it. When you're out and about in these streets, you're probably paying more than that for your drinks, your coffee. So if you feel like this is for you and you want to get at least the done for you 4-week exercise program the 4-week meal plan, the members only Facebook group access, plus 15% off of the Fitness is Not a Game store, with the option of also getting the Secrets of a Fitness Competitor for the Everyday Person ebook, the Fresh Fruit and Vegetable Chart, and the weekly one-on-one sessions with the value up to $550, then I want you to come on and sign up. Remember, you will not even pay the regular price. Because of this pandemic, I'm trying to help as much as possible and giving you the gift of the extra 30% off, which means you can pay as little as $69, and the most you will pay is $137.90. But either way, you are saving up to at least 70% of the value for the entire program. Aren't you worth it? Aren't you worth this? I think you are. So if you are ready, all you have to do is go to fitnessisnotagame.com/4weeks, use the code LOCKEDIN, and you will get your 30% off. Be sure to use that code LOCKEDIN to get your 30% gift from me. Now, if you have any questions, you can always reach out to info@fitnessisnotagame.com, or go ahead and sign up at fitnessisnotagame.com/4weeks. User code locked in to receive your 30% off gift from me. So I appreciate your time for hanging around, listening, and enjoying this presentation. I'd love to hear from you, and I hope you have a great day.